Hi everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to do a drugstore get ready with me using some new products that I got at the drugstore as well as products I've already had. Let's talk about some makeup, do this face so I can go out and talk about my grandma, mainly childhood memories of my grandma, courtesy of Bonnie Lemon's comment. I haven't done my eye primer yet, but I did put on my vitamin C, Mad Hippie, of course. And then I put on this Fresh Lotus Youth Reserve moisturizer, this Fresh Lotus eye cream to smooth out all them wrinkles. So far I like that stuff. But now I'm going to try yet another Revlon product. You know, Candid really got to me. I'm like, what else is good from Revlon I don't know about? I mean, I've largely ignored this brand. So, well, you know, most drugstore. But, you know, Candid really gave me the faith to say, I think we're going to spend some time in the drugstore this year. Anyway, so this is the Revlon PhotoReady. This is a pore minimizing primer. They have others in this line. I don't know what they are. Good job. I'm so glad that didn't go all over my shirt. Anyway, this goes on like a moisturizer, but it turns kind of silicone-y, you know, like the Pore Professional and other primers like that do. And I typically do like that kind of a feel and stuff. Is it actually minimizing my pores? It does, but I don't know that it stays that way after you put on foundation. I think it does a good job of holding onto your makeup, but you know, I don't know about the pore thing. We're going to use my Maybelline. This is a brightener. Anyway, I'm just brightening up underneath my eyes because it is a little dark there. You guys know that when I do these videos and I talk and stuff, I ask you to tell me stuff too, because it's not a one-way street. Okay, I like to know what's going on in your world too. And I don't know why I'm doing this because I actually have an eye primer here. But let's just go with it. I'm just going to put my concealer on as my primer today. Because why not? Bonnie Lemon said in the last video, the comment was about her grandma when she would go to her grandmother's house on Saturdays and spend the night. And that reminded me that we used to do that too. Not for the same reason. I mean, I think she said her parents were going on a date, so they would go stay all night at grandma's on Saturday. My mom and dad bowled on a league, so that's why we would go there. I'm going to go right down here into this purpley color. I think that worked out good for mom and dad. It worked out good for us because, I mean, we loved to go to grandma's house. For one thing, my grandmother was so fun. She was a fat grandma. I loved having a fat grandma. She had a big fluffy lap, okay? And we could crawl up in her lap and it was like home, pillows, love laying in grandma's lap. I mean, obviously, after you get to a certain age, you can't like lay in grandma's lap anymore, but I forgot to say that the reason that we were in grandma's lap was because she would read us the funny papers and she would act out all the characters for us when she read to us. We loved to lay in grandma's lap and we'd stay all night, you know, on Sunday morning. Grandma would make waffles. I want to get deeper, so I'm just going to take a smaller brush and same color, but it's more concentrated. Anyway, so on Saturday night then, mom and dad would go bowling and we would go, me and my brother, we would go over to my grandma's. I know you guys are going to remember this. Do you remember Lawrence Welk? God love her. She had her show, okay? Grandma was hoping we'd get some culture. She'd always try to like, we got to watch Lawrence Welk first. You know, we have to sit in front of that television and watch Lawrence Welk. Oh my gosh, it was so hard not to play with my Barbies. Midge lived at grandma's house, okay? So I got to bring a Barbie to play with Midge. Midge needed Barbie, dang it. I'm going to stop there because I want to use this. Now this is not new at the drugstore. This is new to me. This is one of the Wet n Wild cat suits for the eyes. And this one is in Fairytale Ending. The one that I had before this that I loved so much was Shells and Whistles. Man, it was so hard not to buy that again. That sounds stupid because these are dirt cheap. The reason I didn't get it is because I've got a lot of stuff that color. Okay, so I need to concentrate on those things. That's why I just have Fairytale ending. But this is really gonna go beautiful with this mauve plum I just laid down in my crease. After Lawrence Welk, you know, we could do fun stuff. Gosh, I hated Lawrence Welk. Grandma always had really fun stuff for us to do. We'd play games, play Candyland, and Life. I keep hearing about this Camo, right, with the huge doe foot. It's supposed to be like Shape Tape, so I have tried it. I don't like it at all underneath my eyes. No, ma'am, thank you very much. What I have been doing, though, is coming right here to the side of my nose. Now, this works out pretty good. So just come to the side of my nose. This is where my nose dents are from my glasses, so this just kind of helps it come forward a little bit and not look so indented. And because this stuff won't move, it actually does a pretty good job of holding makeup there. All right, I'm going to use this brush right here. This is one of my favorite brushes that doesn't cost an arm and a leg. It's from a brand called Beauty Junkies, and it's for the face. It's actually for this. This is how I like to use this, and it doesn't budge. It stays there. This is the foundation for the day. It's the Maybelline Radiant Liquid, and I've got mine in Classic Ivory, and I do like it a lot. It has a pump, in case you didn't know. We're going to get a pump out, and we're going to put it on our face. I'm sure that Mom and Dad actually took us over there sometimes, but I just remember Grandma coming to get us and taking us back to her house, and I really, really loved that. She had an old Valiant car. We would lay in the back seat, because you could do that then. You could lay in the floorboard if you wanted to. I can remember laying in the back seat on the floorboard, looking up at all the trees on our way to Grandma's, and she would have this Tutti Frutti. Was that it? Fruit stripe gum, juicy fruit, and that blackjack clover. Ugh, I didn't like that. I did like juicy fruit, but my favorite was the zebra with all the stripes that were colored. Remember that? And my grandma would have on the radio, and she would whistle. And when my grandma whistled, she could whistle in and she could whistle out. She could whistle a song and never stop. Just whistle in, whistle out. And that always amazed me. Grandma knew my flaws, my faults, but my papa did not. My papa thought that the sun rose and set with me. In my family, there just weren't girls. So when I was born, my papa was silly over me. That blush didn't quite get it. I want to use something to kind of warm me up a little bit. One time when Papa come to get me, he made this corner, and my door wasn't shut all the way. And as he rounded the corner, the door opened in the cab of the truck. I was in no danger. I'm pretty sure I was probably strapped in. And Papa reaches across and grabs the door and pulls it shut. But the whole thing really amazed me, and when we got to the house, I told my grandma. I'm like, oh my gosh, I almost fell out of the truck. I was sliding across the seat. I was like hanging out of the truck, and Papa had to pull me back in. Grandma's just like looking at me because Grandma don't buy no bull. Papa in his sweet little voice, he's like, now, Mary, that's not what happened, is it? Yes, Papa, that's what happened. You saved me. I was falling out of the truck and you saved me. Papa's like, no, but Mary, honey, that's not what really happened, right? Did your grandmas make your Barbies clothes? Did your grandma used to make you paper dolls? We used to make paper dolls. I mean, I would get paper dolls. Remember paper dolls? So I would get paper dolls, but Grandma would make paper dolls too. I just thought she was so cool. I remember one time we went to the fair and I got a helium balloon. You know how they tie the string on your arm so you don't lose the balloon. But when we got home, you know, it was close to time to come in. Grandma untied the string and I just had the balloon. And so I'm like out back. And I mean, I'm sure she told me to not be doing, You know, you'll lose that balloon. You'll lose that balloon. But I can't listen because I know best, always, even as a child. So I'm out there with this balloon and I lost it. And it goes flying up in the air. And I start screaming for my grandma. I want her to get the ladder, all right, and get the balloon. Now, hello? I mean, it's way too high to get a ladder. And she's trying to tell me that, but I'm having no part of it. And I'm like, Grandma, please, get the ladder, get the ladder. And, you know, I mean, it's going higher and higher and higher all the time, but nothing doing. I'm not going to believe that she really can't get that balloon. It's like a mile high by now. I'm not going to believe that she cannot get that balloon unless she goes and actually gets the ladder and shows me. You're just not trying. You don't love me. Get the balloon. I probably didn't say that, but I said something and cried enough that she went in and got the ladder. Climbed up on the ladder to show me that she cannot get the balloon. It's gone, Mary. Like, I can remember as we got older, we'd still go over there because we loved it, you know. But, I mean, I'm talking maybe, I think that I'm pretty sure I was in the 6th grade because I remember this outfit that I loved. And it was in the 6th grade that I had that outfit. And I remember this a lot because the kids would tease me about this outfit that I would not stop wearing. You should be able to wear your favorite clothes every single day of your life if you want to. That's how I'm time stamping this 6th grade because I loved that. I took a lot of ribbing in the 6th grade. Some of it was my own doing, but yeah, kids are cruel, aren't they? We're like over at Grandma's and she wants me and my brother to do the dinner dishes. So we're older, right? Old enough to be responsible enough to do dinner dishes. And Grandma had this sprayer on the sink, which we did not have at home. Everybody has a sprayer on their sink now, right? But back then, that was a novelty at Grandma's house. We didn't have a sprayer on our sink, and we just wouldn't leave the thing alone. She's in the other room, she's watching TV, and my brother and I are in there doing the dishes. Now, I don't know which one of us started it, but we got into a war with the sprayer hose. I'm not kidding you. We were definitely old enough to know better. And we are taking that sprayer hose and spraying each other in the whole kitchen too. And I guess Grandma is getting a little, what's going on in there? So she comes in to see, right? Well, then we start laughing, right? Because Grandma's all wet from the hose. The kitchen is all wet. The floor's all wet. Grandma's wet. We're wet. We're laughing. I cannot remember if she just threatened it or if she actually took us home after that incident. And as bad as that was, I remember one worse. Grandma had these tables. The table was like a marble kind of, it wasn't real marble, okay, but a faux marble, if you will. And it had several legs, and you could screw on short legs, you could screw on taller legs, so it could be like a buffet, or it could be a coffee table. When we were over there, she had the short legs on it, and it was a coffee table. And my grandma's house went round and round in a circle. I'm going to stop real quick and tell you about this. This is the Revlon Ultra HD Vinyl Lip Polish in Birthday Suit. I'm going to put that over here. This looks exactly like my mouth. How many of these am I going to get? I don't know. But it doesn't hang around very long. So I've got that lip liner underneath there. Once you drink, eat, whatever, it comes off on everything and it doesn't stay. Which is why right after these first came out, I didn't care for it because I thought it was supposed to be like a regular liquid lipstick and dry down, and it never dried down, so I didn't like it. But I'm quite fond of that formula now. In any case, Grandma, she'd get down on the floor and play Barbies with me. She would play trucks with my brother. She would play hide and seek with us. My grandmother was active. She was an active grandmother with us. She was a really good grandma. Just all these random memories just keep popping up. So anyway, on this particular day, she was chasing us through the house. We're running round and round in circles. She's going to get us, right? And she's running around chasing us in the house. And in the dining room area, there was this table. I don't know which one of us did it. I'm just gonna blame it on my brother, okay? My brother did this. Like, we ran through there, and she's older, so she's behind us a little bit. Grabbed the table, scoot it in the doorway. She comes running through the kitchen then, and she is like going full force and doesn't see the table in time to stop. I mean, it caught her shins, right? She goes flying. She goes flying into the dining room over this table, and it looked so funny. I mean, she was really hurt, but it looked so funny that me and my brother were on the floor laughing our butts off over this. And to this day, I can still see her flying over that. But as an adult now, I'm like, oh my gosh, that must have really hurt. Those were the terrible things that we did to my grandma. I remember taking a bath at her house, and she had bath powder with one of these, but it was huge. Do you remember bath powder? And she powdered me all over with that powder puff. I just loved that. I loved that. Grandma seemed like she was always ahead of the time, right? She had an electric blanket on our bed at her house. She wouldn't, like today, if I have my electric blanket on, which I don't, but if I did, I'm bad about leaving it on all night. I'll leave it on low all night. And then every once in a while, it'll occur to me, you know, is it really good to be living life under electric blanket? But, you know, back then, we just want to be toasty because if you remember when we were kids, the president asked the nation to keep the thermostats at what? 68 or something degrees in the house. And so you put on socks and sweaters and stuff to keep warm. When Grandma had this electric blanket on, it would warm up the bed, but that was all. She just had it to warm up the bed. Your body heat will keep you warm in the night. And I always wanted it to be kept on all night. Please, Grandma, please. It feels so good. She'd say, nope, it's not good for you. I'm going to go back into this palette with this little brush that I just got from Moda. These are those, I showed them on Instagram. Can you see this? I love these handles. And yes, I opened the green ones. I put the gold set up to put in a giveaway sometime. But I'm going to come into this shade right here. Get that and come on the outer corner. Anyway, so Grandma had a walk-in closet in her bedroom. And I would go in there sometimes. I always wanted to go in her closet and play. She wouldn't let me. And so I remember laying on her bed one time. She was doing something in the closet. And probably she had Christmas presents and stuff in there. Because Grandma always... like, she always did this stuff ahead of time. So that's probably why I couldn't go in the closet. But as a child, you don't know why. You just know that Grandma won't let you do it. All right, so she's not letting me in that closet. She's in there herself doing stuff. And I'm laying on the bed. At this particular time, I'm fascinated with boobs. Where do you get boobs? Okay, so that puts us around the time frame of the 5th grade. I'm laying on the bed, and I'm like, wanting to know about boobs. Why I don't ask my mother, I don't know. But I think I'm going to ask Grandma about boobs and where you get them. Switching to an angle brush. So I asked Grandma, I'm like, Grandma, where do you get boobs? And she said, in the closet. What? In the closet. She keeps them in the closet. At night, she takes them off and hangs them up. You have boobs in your closet? But I'm not allowed to get in the closet, so we can't verify that, right? I did sneak back in there later and get in the closet, trying to find the boobs. Now, that was something I've always thought. She set me up for that. You know I'm going to go back in there. All right, guys, I got this mascara, but I'm just going to talk to you about it. All right. This is the mascara Revolution by Makeup Revolution, and it's kind of in a cheap plasticky tube that is rose gold and looks like it's really expensive, but it's not. I wore this once, and I got no use for this at all. I've got several Kleenexes here so that we can talk about this. Is, I think, the worst mascara on the planet. It cost $10. I got it at Ulta, and I just the very first time that I pulled it out, this is how it was, and I see it still is. Oh, it's so nasty. Do you see the clumps that are on this? This is actually mild, and it comes up like you pull it up and it drags it all with it. See that big mama jamba right there? That's a clump. Okay, so, well, you might do this and put it on there, but a lot of times you'll wipe off a wand for the very first time, and then you'll go back in and everything's fine, right? This mascara never gets there. It's always like that, right? I would put it on for you to show you that it does give a false lash effect if you like clumpy lashes. But this mascara flakes worse than any mascara I've ever used. And 2 hours of wearing it, you can still come up and touch your lashes and get black on your finger. So I don't like this at all. See, it just keeps pulling out. Every time you go in, when you come out, you've got a bunch. This is a nasty mascara. We're going to go with a tried and true Great Lash. I really wanted to use a new mascara for you today, but I'm sorry. In 2 hours, I'm going to have it all over my face. From blinking. From blinking. Even as I was a teenager. My grandma found ways to make sure that she was still included in my life. Okay? Like, remember when Saturday Night Fever came out? Oh my gosh, that was embarrassing. I wasn't allowed to go see movies like that. Okay, with boys. No. I mean, if you were going to date me, you had to come to my house a couple of weeks before we were going out, meet my daddy. And I can remember 2 kids having to go get their hair cut so they could take me out. All right, so anyway, that movie was off limits. There's no way. So my mom and dad, I wanted to see it. Of course, everybody in 1977 was watching Saturday Night Fever. So my mom and dad took me. My gosh. That was super risque. I mean, I thought I'm sitting next to my parents watching that movie and going, I don't want to ever look at you again when we leave here. I remember sneaking off and seeing Cheech and Chong's Up in Smoke. I wasn't allowed to see that either. But I remember sneaking with a boy to go watch Up in Smoke. Anyway, Grandma knew that we were all, me and my girlfriends, we were all into the craze of disco. You know, we were all doing the hustle. We were all doing the Saturday Night Fever album. We all had it. And Grandma went and bought one too. Okay, because she, sorry, wait a minute, and asked me if I would teach her the new dances, the hustle. Now, at the time, I thought I got the coolest grandma ever. You know, she wants to learn to do the cool dances. I can remember going over and teaching my grandma the hustle. And at the time, I just thought that my grandma was trying to be cool. But as an adult, and long after my grandma passed away, I realized that she was just creating a circumstance to keep me in her life. She probably didn't give a crap about doing the hustle or Saturday Night Fever. This was a Lawrence Welk woman through and through. I remember after I graduated from high school and started working downtown, Grandma worked down there too. She took me to lunch. We went to Charlie and Barney's, and I had never had au jus before. I didn't know you're supposed to dunk your sandwich in it, so I ate my sandwich, my chips, picked up my au jus, and drank it. And Grandma was like horrified. She said, I'm never taking you out to eat again. And she never did. Of course, I think that was just because she retired and, you know, she wasn't working down there anymore. But I remember thinking, dang, Grandma meant that stuff. All right, I'm going to do my hair. I'll be right back. Ooh, look at me, all confident doing this in the viewfinder. So share with me below stories of your grandparents. And I hope you guys know that you're the best part of the Fritzy family. And if you're not having a blessed day, please go out and be a blessing to somebody else. Until next time, love you, see ya, bye, and I'm out.
And so it begins, the transformation of a woman to a cat. Meow. You guys have got a notepad right next to the monitor here so that I can look over there. And the print is like this big. There's no shade in my game. No, serious. And it's still blurry. When my choo-choo goes off the track, it goes choo-choo, choo-choo. Yeah, like the Chattanooga choo-choo, right? You know, that's not really how that goes. It goes, pardon me, boys. Is that the Chattanooga choo-choo? I'm trying to be Jimmy Durante, who doesn't sing that song. This is all wrong. It's by Fresh. Who doesn't love Fresh? My mom and dad didn't love Fresh. I'll tell you what. They'd always say, you're getting a little fresh. You guys ever get up in the morning and it's like one side of your nose has snot, like in the front of your nostril, and you gotta dig it out with a Kleenex? Me either. Got a big old glop of that, so we're not gonna use that much. Really? That's about how much we're gonna use. Not all of this. I feel like donkey. Don't you say it. Don't you say that I'm a jackass. But I feel like donkey on Shrek. And tomorrow, we're having waffles. Whatever. It's the Milani Most Loved Mattes. I love you. You are so wonderful to me. You are so beautiful to me. Can't you see? You're everything I hope for. You're everything I need. So Grandma's in the other room. Alright, I'm back, and I picked this stupid thing off the floor, and I don't even see it on the outside. It's all over me. Look! Throwing things once just isn't enough. That old black mascara's got me in its spell. That old crap I don't like very well. Look at this. It's not flipping you off if I'm doing it backwards. So, do you have any stories? This is not a mirror. My gosh, I look like mud. I hope that you guys know that you are the best part of the Fritzy family. Family. I don't know why. I've had these teeth and this tongue my whole life, and yet I still can't talk.